Welcome to Accreditation Made Easy, the podcast that takes the stress out of accreditation. I am your host, Areaka, and in each episode, we'll deliver actionable tips, expert insights, and practical strategies to help streamline the process. And of course, make your work life a little easier. Now, whether you're tackling policies, preparing for assessments, or just looking for ways to stay ahead, we've got you covered. Let's simplify accreditation, one step at a time. If you've ever thought to yourself, why does this task feel harder every single time I do it? Or, I know I've done this before, but I can't remember exactly how. Then this episode is for you. Because the truth is, accreditation is full of repeatable tasks, and repeatable tasks deserve repeatable systems. Hey there. Welcome back to another episode of Accreditation Made Easy. I am your host, Areaka. And today we're talking about something that I truly believe can change how you experience accreditation work. And it's called creating playbooks. What is a playbook, you ask? Well, a playbook is simply a documented process for completing a task from start to finish. It's not meant to be complicated. It's not even meant to be perfect. A playbook is really just a bunch of small SOPs put together to accomplish one outcome. And when you do a task enough times, you already have a system, even if that system only lives in your head. What a playbook is going to do is it's going to get it out of your head and onto paper, so it can be repeated consistently and you can improve it over time and maybe even share it with others. Think about delegating or maybe transferring the task to someone else, or even make a playbook as part of your succession plan. You know, when you retire and you move on, maybe you leave a little something behind for the next person. The goal here is to build systems that work for you instead of you constantly working for your system. Get it? Now, here are the core playbooks that I believe every accreditation manager should have. And I want you to focus on these 4 accreditation tasks because they're perfect candidates for playbooks. They're also ones that I created a downloadable template for, which of course I'll put a link to in the show notes. Now, first one is going to be gathering proofs. This playbook, it's going to document how proofs maybe are requested, how you want them received, what your review process is, any conversion if needed, like if it comes to you in a Word document, you convert it to PDF before you attach it, and then how you attach it. This is going to help prevent anything like missing signatures, any unreadable documents, or just last-minute panic. Next task, core task, is building files. Now, a building file playbook is going to outline how you interpret the standard, determine what documentation might be needed, how you're going to attach it, highlight it, verify when it's done. This is going to keep your files consistent year over year. If maybe more than one person's building it, you're all building them the same. Make sense? Okay, the third task is writing policies. Now, if this is in your wheelhouse, a policy playbook is going to capture maybe how you research, what's your source material, how do you draft language and route it for review and obtain approvals, and lastly, how do you publish your final versions? It could also clearly define who is responsible at each step. Finally, the last core task is planning assessments. Now, we all know that planning assessments has a lot, and I mean a lot, of moving parts. You got timelines, logistics, participants, communication, just to name a few. And a playbook is going to ensure that nothing falls through the cracks and that every assessment is approached with intention instead of stress. How do you build a playbook? Well, for each task, your playbook only needs to answer 4 questions. First, what is the task? What is it that you do? And if you don't really know where to start, try doing a time audit where you literally take note of each major task as you complete it throughout the day. Then go to there as far as what playbooks to create. Next question, how often does it happen and how long should the task take? Then you want to list out step-by-step actions that are needed to complete it. And lastly, how do you define done? I mean, when you're done, what does it look like? What does done look like? 1 or 2 sentences of how you define done. That's it. Once those are documented, you've created something really powerful. You've created a repeatable process that you can rely on and maybe others in the future in a kind of pay it forward kind of deal. Now, how about some additional playbooks or things to consider? One would be your proof intake workflow. You could outline, how do you request proofs? When do you request proofs? When do you review them? Like if you need to do follow-up if they're not complete. How are they converted? Where do they live? Do you have a folder filing system on your computer, maybe online, maybe it's physical? Having this documented is going to eliminate so much back and forth and save an incredible amount of time. Another great one, how about planning mock or internal assessments? Not your formal one, but mock. They have a little bit different focus. So a playbook for planning a mock might include, what's the scope of the review? Do you want them looking at just your policies? Do you want them making sure all your hyperlinks work? I'm talking maybe more like a technical review here. But anyways, just determine what the scope is. How deep do you want your assessors to dig? Next, what's your process for selecting your reviewers? Are they internal assessors? Are they external? Are they local? Do you pay for travel? And then set timelines and expectations. Of course, decide how you want to capture feedback in the form of notes. And lastly, what do you do with those notes? How do you translate those findings into corrective action? And do you triage the feedback that your reviewers give you? These are just some of the things that you could be thinking about when you write down a playbook for a mock. I believe that mock assessments are far more effective when they're planned intentionally instead of just thrown together just as a checkbox as something to do. Now, playbooks aren't about locking yourself into one way of doing things. They should be living documents. They should evolve as your processes improve. And of course, if you do delegation, it should make it a whole lot easier and reduce decision fatigue. But most importantly, they're going to give you confidence because you no longer are guessing how to do the work because you have it right there in black and white. You literally have a script to follow. So, of course, I highly, highly recommend doing playbooks. Do a few here and there when you have a little bit of downtime and time to reflect. Just document what you already do, turn it into a playbook, and then over time, look for ways to improve it. Now, of course, I'm going to link in the show notes to a downloadable playbook just to get you started right away, and then you can customize them to fit how you work. Well, friends, thanks so much for listening. If you found this episode helpful, I'd love for you to share it with someone else, maybe who's juggling accreditation responsibilities. And if you're not already signed up for my free helpful tips, it's easy to do. Just head over to www.accreditationacademy.net/sign up, and I will get you set up. Until next time, friends, let's keep making accreditation easy, one step at a time.